Yes. Commissioner Jones, precinct 1 present.
Linda Rajke, precinct 2 present.
Mike Sandoval, finally present.
Gary Don Moss, precinct 4 present.
All right, thanks everybody. Jennifer, did we have anybody sign up for public comment?
I did not have any sign up for public comment.
Okay. If we could, let's.
The pledge.
Can you give me the screen, Jennifer? How's that? All right, we'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. flag, followed by the pledge to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation under God,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the
Honor the
Texas flag.
Texas flag. I pledge allegiance
to
to
thee,
thee,
Texas,
Texas,
one
one
state
state
under
under
God,
God, one
and
and indivisible.
indivisible. Linda, would you like to lead us in a prayer?
Yes, thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. As always, we ask for you to provide us with wisdom, with guidance, with discernment. We ask that all of those that are suffering from the COVID virus to heal. We ask that you give us the strength and the ability to do what we need to for all of our constituents in Llano County. We ask that you provide extra protection of layer for our healthcare workers, our first responders, our law enforcement, and all of our volunteers. It's in your heavenly name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
No one signing up for public comment. We'll move to agenda item number 2, consent agenda. Does anyone have anything they wish to pull from the consent agenda?
Just on the let me get to it real quick. On the budget transfers, Judge, or Cindy, either one, but the and I know that this goes through your office, but in the sheriff's office, but the Engine Healthcare, you know, there's a lot of money around there from the unallocated and contingency to that, I guess. That's just running short. Is there something going on there, or what is that?
Which one, Jerry Don? I'm sorry.
Well, on the budget transfers from unallocated and the contingency for fuel and utilities out of non-departmental, looks like that money has went to
Indigent healthcare.
Yes.
Yes, we've had a lot of indigents this year, a lot of costs, and also a lot of costs in the jail. Of course, if you remember, we transferred inmate medical into indigent for those that qualify. So a lot of the medical that used to be charged to the sheriff's office is now being charged through indigent healthcare.
Indigent. What?
But even at that, even what we had budgeted in the sheriff's budget would not have covered it anyway, so we would have had to do a transfer.
When did that happen?
It's been in the last 3 to 4 months. I don't know if you recall, there was a major fight in the jail that caused massive injuries to one of the inmates, and we're responsible.
One of the inmates had to have, one of the inmates got into a fight with another inmate and ended up breaking major bone, had to have surgery, and then that same inmate that was involved in the fight to begin with had a situation, and then we've got one inmate that we couldn't move anywhere, and he had some major health issues also. Okay. Well, what Jennifer found out was that, and Jennifer Cindy, correct me if I'm wrong, but if they are in custody, their Medicaid and Medicare, whatever they're on, does not cover them.
Correct.
Yeah,
the county has to cover it. So that's where those costs came from.
Have we addressed that for the next budget cycle?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But we took all did I just hear y'all right that there's not going to be inmate medical in the sheriff's department anymore? It's going to be under indigent health.
No, there's still some in there,
Okay.
but we moved some over to cover what we now know that we have to cover
Mhm.
in the indigent health fund.
Okay.
Some things like dental and prescription should not be covered under indigent healthcare. That needs to stay in the sheriff's office for those.
Okay.
Because that is indigent, whether it's called indigent or not, right?
Correct. We're still responsible for it.
Right, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay, thank
did
y'all.
address that, Jay, Don, in the budget. We can talk about it tomorrow if you want.
Yes, sir. Well, no, it's okay. Y'all explained it. Thank you.
It was a pretty significant cost.
Yes.
Can't go into a lot of the details, but
Yeah.
it was a significant cost.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, on the contracts, there was a statement on here, number 3, it said new payroll certification form for remote meetings. I didn't locate that in the package. Is that something new?
What was? I'm
Cindy, is
sorry.
that the one where we get the equipment from Capcog? Is that?
No, it says new payroll certification form for remote meetings.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what, well, Cindy, you want to explain it? Because it's just a simplified version. Once we approve a payroll in commissioner's court where it's recorded and we've got it on record, then we're able to sign this and it doesn't have to go around the county getting signatures from everybody.
We sign it online here somehow?
No, not, that's what I would like to do, but we're not to that stage yet.
I'm sorry, I thought I posted that for y'all. I'll send it to y'all here.
Yeah, I don't have it.
I don't either.
It still has to be approved through commissioner's court.
Yes.
But it's something different than we've been doing. With basically kind of scanned and signed and scanned and sent back.
No, you don't. This way, whoever the presiding officer is in commissioner's court can certify that it was approved with the consent agenda. That way, it doesn't have to be. We don't have to wait to get everybody's signature back, and it doesn't hold up payroll.
Oh, okay. So if the judge could sign it and it's done?
If it's approved in commissioner's court.
The judge and the county clerk to certify.
Oh, that's better.
Holding up payroll, that would be a problem. I don't see, you would think that our vote in the minutes would be enough to, not that I'm against the judge or the county clerk certifying it at all, but it seems like when we vote on something, it's certified. That's not correct. Hello?
Apparently there was an issue after last payroll.
May I speak on that? This is Teresa.
Mhm.
When you removed payroll from my office, you sent a form that said I had to have a signed form of certification, and I'm not getting it on time anymore.
It said that the form said that you had to have a signed payroll
That I had
certification.
to have a
Before,
certification.
hold on a second, please. Before the checks were issued, that's what it says?
Correct.
Or you just had to have one on file?
I didn't have one at all this month. I had to
No.
ask for it.
That's not what I'm asking.
July.
What I'm asking is the thing that, whatever it is that you said we sent you, did that say that you had to have one on file or you had to have one before the checks were issued?
Correct. I'm supposed to get this thing from Cindy and Lisa, and on the list, it says I have the payroll certification.
Yeah,
So I was just following your rules.
Yeah, but still, the question I'm asking is, did it say that you had to have one before the checks were issued?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see that if you don't mind. Could you email that back to me if we send it to you at some point?
Well, it's from Cindy. She should have it. Yes, I can send
Yeah.
it to you.
I
Okay.
just posted the new form on the Amazon Drive.
And I haven't seen the new form.
Yeah, neither. She just posted it though.
I'm gonna take a minute and look at that.
I'm gonna locate it.
Should be right under your monthly reports on the Amazon Drive.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I don't have it.
Hasn't come through yet, Cindy.
Yeah.
I've got it. Wh- Uh, I guess I should know when they sent this to you, but when did this go out before?
Usually right after Commissioners Court, when y'all approve payroll, you sign a form. All the commissioners sign it, and then it goes
Yes,
to the
ma'am.
treasurer.
Yeah, no, what I'm talking about is the form, the paperwork that we said she had to have this before.
That was,
Oh, about 2 or 3 years ago?
yeah, that was before I came in.
Yeah.
When you move payroll.
Yeah, okay.
So while y'all are looking at that, I need to do a housekeeping item right quick. Just so everybody understands, if you go through the agenda, somehow our numbering got off. So it goes down to agenda item number 11 and then jumps to 13 and then goes back to 12. So the first 13 would be 12, 12 would be 13, and 13 would be 14. That should be as clear as mud for y'all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are y'all good with that?
Yes.
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I'll move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
On a motion in a second. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Agenda item 3 is public comments. There are no public comments, so we'll go to agenda item 4, update discussion on Llano County COVID-19 response, including Llano County emergency declaration and report on information received from Office of the Governor and TDM and Llano County Local Health Authority. We've got Dr. Franklin on the phone and got Gilbert Bennett on the phone, on the Zoom. I'm sorry. So Dr. Franklin, you want to take it away?
Sure. The main thing the main news is that our case counts here in the Hill Country have tapered off tremendously in the last week. We've not had a new active case in 6 days at this point.
How many days?
6. Last was on August 4th. So we are certainly looking a whole lot better than we were 2 to 3 weeks ago. This has dropped our active case count. I believe it was 12 to 13. That's a bit of a moving target and sort of an estimate based upon the dates that people should have been able to come out of quarantine. There are there's more to it than just the date though. So that may be off by 1 or 2 either direction. The state case counts have also started decreasing somewhat. I will caution everyone looking at the state's website, the method that they have used to report fatalities has changed. And it really makes things look very, very good because it looks like we've had absolutely no fatalities in the last 24 hours and only 1 or 2 in the last 48 hours. That's because they are waiting until those come back from death certificates before they're reported. Well, most doctors, JPs, don't sign those death certificates within 24 hours. So it's going to take a while for Sunday deaths to be reported. that change came about last week, so it does makes it suddenly look like we're done. I caution everyone that that's quite the case. The big thing from coronavirus this week is we start school on Thursday, and I'm on pins and needles, but I'll say this, the school district has done, I think, everything in their power. We've got a good plan together of trying to isolate the students as much as possible in classrooms. We're going to minimize the time out of the classroom, so the time in the hallways, they should be wearing masks, at least at the high school and junior high level. And we're going to try and keep that less than 5 minutes. We do have a few classes where we couldn't adequately social distance the students in the classroom, but even then, hopefully it will be a minimal number of students that have to be quarantined if someone, I cannot believe I just said if someone comes back with coronavirus. If you'd asked me that 2 weeks ago, I would have said when someone comes back with coronavirus, but we're looking a little bit better right now. One request I had was to spend some of our coronavirus money on thermometers for the school. I think we had a total of 13 thermometers earmarked for them through TDM and through the TEA. They need about 100 of them. And the reason they need about 100 of them, they need one per individual class. Otherwise, you're going to have a line of students in the morning getting their temperatures checked before they come into the school. And I really don't want them standing in a line outside. Lines are not very good. So it would be much better if each individual first period classroom had a thermometer, had the teachers check 15 to 30 students, and we've got temperature checks on everybody every day. I think that would go a long way toward things. Unfortunately, those thermometers are not cheap, $1 a piece. So again, I'd like to spend a portion of our coronavirus money on getting thermometers for the school system.
How much a piece did you say?
They're about $100 a piece, and that's for the infrared
No touch.
thermometers, right?
Well, it's preventative action right now. That's what's going to keep us out of the doghouse.
So we're looking at about $9,000.
It should be. I'm hoping. I occasionally can get a good discount through the medical supplier that I use. Sometimes they'll drop it down. I can't make any promises. I just have to wait and see if they come back after we place the order through the group purchasing agreement.
Cindy, can we allocate that money from somewhere?
Well, you actually have it down in agenda item 11, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah, it should be in a minute.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
One other thing that happened last week as far as DSHS and COVID is we were notified early in the week. Gilbert had gotten wind of it, but as everybody knows, we've done public testing. The first public testing I think we did at the high school or junior high, and it was 72 people. It was conducted by the Texas National Guard. The second testing was done in Kingsland. It was 32 people done by the Texas National Guard. Both times when they did that testing, the results were coming back to us of not who tested negative, but the results of who tested positive would come back to the county, and we would know usually within, what do you think, Jack, 5 days? Usually was the
5 to 7, yeah.
turnaround. Well, in July, they contracted that job out to a third party. And so now there is a private company that is coming in and doing the testing. We had that testing conducted here in Llano about 3 weeks ago, and I think we had 190 people come in and get tested. And we thought this is the way to go. Last week, we were notified by DSHS that they will still come out and do the testing, but going forward, they will only notify the person who was tested of their test results, and they will only notify the state. They have cut the county out of the process. So we would have to rely on the state getting the information and bringing that information to our attention. So the concern is that it may take anywhere from 5 to 7 days for the state to get that information updated and get to us. And by that time, historically, what has happened in the past, as soon as we had a positive, we were on it getting contact tracing conducted, and usually accomplished within 72 hours at the very most usually. So we're not sure. We've asked the state to reconsider. I don't know if they will, but it's kind of defeats the purpose of us trying to be proactive by doing the public mass testing if we're not going to be told what the results were. So that's just a situation that we're in right now. We're working on it. Like I say, if something changes, we'll let you all know. But it's kind of disturbing when we're running at about 142 cases and the state shows us at 86.
Very disturbing.
So, Gilbert, you got anything to add on COVID?
Sure. Yeah, I can give you the update from this morning, the current conditions and current situation from the DSHS, and you can take this report for what it is. But there's 481,483 COVID cases in Texas. There's an estimated of 134,797 active cases. 338,343 individuals have recovered, and there's been 8,343 confirmed fatalities. And what's kind of disturbing, just to share with you guys, in the state of Texas and how we're receiving the fatalities, and Dr. Franklin, you can expand on it, but when this first started, they didn't even test the fatalities. So that kind of throws the numbers off right from the beginning. And just to let you guys know that. And, it is what it is. They're confirming them the best they can, but they're probably behind, like our numbers are behind. On August 8th, the Governor Abbott extended his disaster declaration for all Texas counties in response to COVID-19, which was originally issued March 13th. So August 8th, he extended that. And I can check in to see if I sent a text to Robbie to see if we could get 100 thermometers, and maybe she'll contact me here and let me know, but I can let you know that. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thanks, Gilbert.
I can explain why the reason the death rates have changed from the state level is because of previously what they were doing was they were reporting the number of deaths on Monday as the number of COVID deaths that they got word of that Monday. What they have done now is they are reporting the number of deaths on Monday by the date of the death certificate. So everyone who was reported as dying of COVID on Monday gets now reported in that. Well, again, death certificates are signed later in the week to the 2 weeks later, depending upon if you're wondering about cause of death, waiting for testing, sometimes just waiting for the doctor to actually sign the death certificate. It may take 2 to 3 weeks to find out you had a positive case on Monday. So what it does is it makes it look like we've had very few deaths in the last 2 or 3 days. We just don't know about them yet. And I'm not upset with that method of reporting. What I'm upset with is that we've decided to change to that method reporting midstream as we're about to open the schools. And I think it gives a false sense of security there. So that was not me, that was you.
So how many active cases did you say there were, Dr. Franklin, in Llano County right now?
On my list, about 13.
13. And you think that's wrong?
I think, like I say, that's an estimate. To tell you the true number of cases, we would have to go back and call every one of our positive cases, find out, have you had symptoms in the last 24 hours? Have you had fever in the last 2 to 3 days? And then go through a process of letting them out of quarantine. Because we've had so many cases, what's been done is we give them that guidance up front and tell them at day 10, provided you've had no fever, you've had decrease in symptoms, blah, 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 you can come out of quarantine on day 10, August 6th, something along those lines. So again, we're sort of estimating if that person still was running fever on day 10, then obviously they're still in quarantine and they would still be an active case. But
Yes, sir.
like I say, it's an estimate.
Just a quick note on that. We get calls, we still get calls from concerned citizens who say, I know so-and-so had COVID-19 and I know he was in quarantine or he was in isolation and I just saw him at the bank. Well, the only person that knows when day 10 is the doctor and that person. So if they're released and they're out and about, then we've got to take it at face value that they're not violating their quarantine, that they've been released from their quarantine or isolation.
Dr. Franklin, I was confused on the number of cases we had. Did you say 142 cases is what we believe? And how many deaths have we had?
We've had 4. And yes, 142 that have been reported to my office, I would say.
Okay.
Any more questions for Dr. Franklin or Gilbert or me?
No, sir. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Franklin. Move on to agenda item 5, discussion action prohibiting restricting outdoor burning in Llano County.
Motion to table.
I'll say.
The weather hasn't changed. So.
No.
Who seconded it? Peter?
Me,
Was that
Peter,
you?
yeah.
Thank you. Okay, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Close agenda item 5. Agenda item 6, public hearings, discussions, approval of plats, replats, vacating of lot or lots. Nothing. So we'll move to agenda item 7. Discussion action to approve equipment transfer memorandum of agreement between Capital Area Council of Governments subrecipient and Llano County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management receiving jurisdiction agency. Gilbert, you want to talk about that right quick? What it is? Hello, Gilbert.
John.
Where'd he go?
Are you there? Hello.
We're here.
I'm sorry, Judge. I thought I was done.
All right, quiet. You ever talk about the equipment that we're receiving?
Okay. Yeah, let me get back to where y'all can see me here.
There you are.
The equipment we received is called the Microsoft Hub 25, and it's used for basically it could be used in the EOC, the Emergency Operations Center, in the event that the region needed to contact the EOCs throughout the region. It's a tool that we can use for communication from the region in Austin, and it also can be used for training. I can see the advantage of this as far as training from CapCog region and also what's offered for dispatch in the 911 training. So it does save in an effort there. So it's a good tool. They're going to send somebody out to do all the technology and setup of the piece of equipment. We have received all 3 pieces. It's a stand, it's the hub, and it's a battery pack. And it is mobile, so I can move it around anywhere to use it. So it's not a stationary training piece of equipment. So I think once we get used to it.
I want to clarify, this is not something that we put in a grant request for. This is something that CapCog sent to all 10 of their counties and said, this is how we want you to communicate with us. So
When did they send that?
I received it last week. the total of all three pieces. It took 2 weeks for it to come in, but I received notice on the 1st that we'd receive it by the 7th. And so we had received all three pieces by the 7th.
And before Gilbert accepted it, I requested that Cindy and Matt both look at the agreement and everything and make sure that we can live with what they say the terms are, I guess is the best way to describe it.
It is also a piece of equipment that will go from generation to generation. I mean, I have to pass it on to whoever's after follows me, and then it's one of those pieces of equipment that'll stay with the county through connection with CapCog.
We just need to understand that it does not essentially belong to the county. It was purchased with a grant that came through, it's the grant through TDEM, not our grant to them, and they purchased the equipment and it's on loan to us essentially.
So it actually belongs to CapCog.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
That's fine.
If, and there says here, there's no cost to us at all.
Correct.
No, sir.
If, I appreciate Judge, you getting Cindy and Matt to look at it, but if there's any way possible, I know some of these things may be a little different on timing, but the court should probably look at this before we accept them, you know. Accept things to the county. Like today, we're voting on to approve this. If there's any way in the future, we should probably, before someone from the county actually accepts it, the commissioner's court should probably approve it.
No, that's why, in my mind, that's what we're doing here. They haven't set it up or anything, and that's what I told Gilbert.
Oh, okay.
We got to get this to the court before CapCog comes in and sets it up or anything.
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought that we had it in.
Oh, no. It's Gilbert took out one piece, and I said, no, leave it in the box till we get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a surprise, just to let y'all know. I mean, it just showed up, and then I received a letter saying, here's what you're going to get, and here's our inventory stickers. And I said, okay.
All right.
So do I have a motion on agenda item 7? If not, I'll make it.
I'll make a motion to approve the equipment transfer memorandum of agreement between Capital Area Council of Government subrecipient and Llano County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management receiving jurisdiction agency.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Agenda item 8. It's kind of a long one, so bear with me. To approve an amendment to the hotel occupancy tax grant awarded to Llano County on April 27, 2020 in the amount of $28,766 for installation of an automatic electric system and programmable chime system for the Llano County Courthouse clock. The original quote from Gene Galbraith of the Southwest Museum of Clocks and Watches dated August 26, 2019 was $19,300 for the automatic electric system and $9,466 for the programmable chime system. Due to a vendor price increase for the automatic electric system, the new quote is $24,030. The amount being requested is an additional $4,730, bringing the grand total to $33,496. Does that make sense to y'all? I'm sorry, I know it's wrong.
It does, but you know, we had approved to have a meeting once a year, and I sure hate for us to be the ones to break it.
I agree. My concern was the price goes up again. If we didn't act on it.
No, I think we definitely need to act on it, but we may need to cover that extra cost out of our budget, I think, because that's just my opinion. Because I don't want everyone that gets money from the hotel occupancy tax to say, well, can't you put this on the agenda? And then we say we can't do that, and unless it's for us, you know. So I definitely think that we need to take, you know, because it will go up, as you very well know, Judge, but I don't know that we should pay for this out of the hotel occupancy tax fund because the increase. Because we did make the rules, we should probably go by them.
Yeah.
Just my thought.
So
What is
Cindy,
the reason we didn't order it when we approved it?
well, we did it through the HOT grant. We couldn't go forward with it until it was approved in the HOT grant. Then once we went forward with it, it had to go through the historical commission and then a bidding process. And by the time we got it through all of the, I guess the hurdles, over all the hurdles, the price had gone up. And then everything got shut down during COVID also.
Cindy, do we have funds in building and maintenance for this extra 4,700?
I'll have to look and see. It's end of fiscal year. We're getting kind of tight all the way around. But let me get on and I'll see what I can find.
Well, I agree with Commissioner Moss in that we don't need to break our own rule because it'll come back to haunt us in the next couple of years.
You better believe it. Definitely think, I understand 100%, Judge, that how, with all the stuff's going on, how the price could very easily go up. And I appreciate you working on to get it fixed, but I just think we should pay for it.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, J. Don.
And so all of those other approvals have been approved. We just need to find $4,700 and tell them to go, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm in. So you want a motion on that?
Well, Cindy's looking for $4,700 right now.
Well,
While she's looking at it, Judge, the historical commission, they did okay everything, I guess.
They blessed it off. They've worked with this gentleman in the past, Gene Galbraith, and they said, yeah, let him do it. He does good work. So we got their full blessing on it. And just so y'all know, what we're going to try and do is time it so that when they work on the clock, if you look at the courthouse, there's still that top tower that needs to be repainted. And that's what we're going to do all at the same time. Is when they do the clock, they're going to repaint that top portion of the courthouse because it requires an extra tall lift.
Okay.
Are you talking about the cupola? That very top piece?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Cindy,
We could move $4,500 out of professional services into building maintenance to supplement the cost
Okay.
out of non-departmental.
that wouldn't have to come back to the court, would it? That could just.
Not if y'all approve that today, we'll just have the document on the next court to ratify.
Perfect.
So do I have a motion on that one?
I'll make a motion to transfer $4,500 from non-departmental to building and maintenance in the amount of $4,500 to cover the cost of the price increase to repair the clock at the courthouse.
second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Agenda item 9, discussion action to approve a deposit of $12,015 to Gene Galbraith of the Southwest Museum of Clocks and Watches, 1/2 of the cost to install an automatic electric and chime system for the Llano County Courthouse clock. I don't think that's
I'll make that motion since we just approved the last agenda item.
I'll second.
got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Agenda item 10, discussion action to approve a resolution with the Hill Country Community Action Association, Inc., and the authorizing county grant program for 2021. That is,
Judge, this isn't what we didn't already do this?
I thought we did, but it's a grant that they sent over that we need to sign. And it's for,
Yeah.
I think we just didn't approve the resolution. The actual resolution had to be approved in Commissioners Court for them to pass along with their grant.
Okay, for some reason, I thought the resolution was with that last time, but
I did too.
I know it's been on the agenda.
I knew it had been on there. But when in doubt, I'm putting it back on there.
There you go.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution with the Hill Country Community Action Association authorizing county grant program for 2021.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Who seconded that, please?
Mike,
Mr. Sandoval.
Okay. Agenda item 11, discussion action to establish a budget for the allocation of CARES Act funds, including the following proposed categories and amounts. We've talked about this a couple of times. We had never gone through and said, okay, what are the specific amounts? And so Cindy worked with Dr. Franklin and I to try and come up with some shape, form, or fashion of where to put these funds. Let me get that down so everybody can see it.
Judge, are we fairly sure that 10,000 will cover the cost for the school district? I'm just concerned we're already at 9,000 for thermometers.
I don't know if it will, Linda. We just once we get these established,
Can we move monies then, Cindy?
We just have to make sure that in category, the last categories is not more than 25% of the whole.
Right, and I don't see the last two will be. It's just the first three I'm concerned about.
I'm thinking we could even take, later on, we could take the $10,000 out of the last category and move it up into the top for the ESD in the schools.
Okay.
It's still a protective measure, so.
Right, I'm just concerned.
Would you go over that rule again?
Categories 1 through 3, which you can see are mainly expenses that the direct county expenses that we have, employee expenses, our equipment, those kinds of things. And the last two categories that we have listed would be supporting other entities or businesses in the community.
It's 75-25, correct?
Right. It can't be more than 25% in the last category.
But I think they waived that. And I'm looking for it right now. I think they waived that.
We spend 100% in the first three, but we can't spend more than 25% in the last.
That's what it was, Cindy. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we have enough for the school in case, I'm just concerned about that.
Yeah, I agree with Linda because we're going to go already, like you said, we're already up there at
Yeah,
that dollar amount.
I want to make sure that yes, that's all I'm asking for.
We
Judge,
don't know, sir.
What? No, go ahead. You might answer my question.
We don't know, when all of this came out, there was, I think 5.6 billion was sent to Texas. 8 of the largest cities and counties got their share immediately 100%. There was a remaining 1.45 billion that was sent over to Dan Patrick and Speaker Bonin to allocate to the counties. I think there was another 240 something counties that they said would get a share. And our share was, I think, 777,000. But the way it all was distributed was the rural counties only get 20% of what their allocated share is. And then there's stipulations on how they can spend that right now. So I'm saying all that to say that if it really gets bad, there may be an opportunity to go back and draw another 20%. But I don't know how all that works yet. And I don't think anybody has covered it with the auditors. Have they, Cindy?
No, and what we're talking about here is just the money that we actually have on hand.
Yeah.
So to a situation later on where this isn't enough, we can always go back and
that's what we received out there.
Okay. Again, and as long as that 10,000 for support of the ISD is fine, as long as we know that we can move it if we need to, Cindy, that's just my concern.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. It's up to Commissioners Court's decision on how it's allocated.
Okay,
First category, 10,000 for PPEs for EMS at the Llano School District. We haven't touched any of that money.
okay,
Now, on that note, the state is supplying a lot of the PPE. TEA is providing a lot of PPE for the schools. I'm trying to think of how to say this politely. The quality of the PPE is sometimes lacking. And so
What is
it's
that? What is PPE?
personal protection.
equipment.
Okay.
The mask and stuff, they're still working through trying to find what best works for the different age groups in school, the different grades. So the school districts, they're really doing all they can, but there may come a need to where we have to tap into that. We just haven't touched it yet.
That's what I'm thinking too. I just want to make sure that we can supply what we need to.
Amen.
And also, if you look at the fifth line down where it's got 35,000 for Dr. Franklin for possible testing kits and other direct expenditures. If he feels the need for more thermometers, that could come out of that line item as well. So there's plenty of room. If we need.
Okay. Okay, I feel better. I just want to make sure.
So can I get a motion on that?
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for working on that. Start with.
Yes.
But I'll make a motion to approve the budget for the allocation of the CARES Act fund. As presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Agenda item 12, discussion action on extending the Llano County Medical Service Agreement with Dr. Jack Franklin through December 2020. I think we had it where I thought it went through December 2020. Now that
I did too.
No, Judge, it expires the end of this month.
Okay. So we just need to go through 2020 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So move.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion?
No.
Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries.
That was seconded by Mr. Jones, though. Linda made the motion.
Right.
That's what I had. I might not have said it, but that's what I have written down.
Okay.
Sorry. Agenda item 13, executive closed session. We've got nothing in executive closed session.
No, I do.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So at this time, Jennifer, are you on there?
Yes, sir.
Can you send this to a holding room, please?
Would you stop the screen for me? It would.
Yes. How's that?
Much better. Thank you.
Make sure everybody's back. Commissioners, can y'all unmute, please? Okay, back in open session, 10:51 a.m. Commissioner Jones, make sure everybody who's not watching knows you're here. We'll do a roll call again.
Yeah, it's Commissioner Jones, precinct 1.
Linda Roschke, precinct 2.
Mike Sandoval, precinct 3.
Gary Dunn Moss, precinct 4.
Okay, everybody, agenda item 13, return to open session, further discussion, possible action on any matter discussion in executive session. We will take no action at this time. We will adjourn. The next Commissioners Court is going to be August 24th, 2020. Quick reminder, everybody, school starts August 13th. So watch out for little ones in the streets and pray for our schools and our students.
Yes, sir.
And reminder about budget workshop.
Yeah, we got a Commissioners Court tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got a budget workshop tomorrow. It'll be in person out at the John Kirkendall Center. For those of you that are listening and don't know where that's at, it's at the rodeo grounds in Llano. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
No.
See y'all tomorrow.
Tomorrow.